In line with the current trends and worldwide digitalization movement, it is time now more than ever to disrupt yourselves innovatively and receive and host guests in a brand new way in a safe and delightful manner. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for taking time to join us for this Hospitality Reboot event. My name is Jocelyn. I'm from NEC. It's my pleasure to be your MC today. So let's take a look at the agenda for what's lined up for you for the next 1.5 hours. We will first have Mr. Frank Trampert, SVP and Global Managing Director of Sabre Hospitality Solutions, to give us the keynote address. Frank has valuable experience in both hospitality processes and technology, having held leadership positions with the Wyndham Group, Hotel Group in Hong Kong, Carlson Hotels across 4 continents, and Brand Karma in Singapore. Next, Mr. Lawrence Chan, a seasoned consultant for the Smart IoT hospitality business in NEC APAC, will present the topic Hospitality Reborn with Smart Technologies. Then Mr. Cheong Huat, Regional Manager of Southeast Asia and Japan from Salto Systems, will talk about mobile keys digitalized. Having been in the security business since 1990, Huat has in-depth experience in building hotel locks systems, master key systems, and even access control systems. Our last speaker, Mr. Silvio, will speak about how the different technology stacks will impact your hotel. Silvio is a passionate industry professional with over 2 decades of experience in hospitality tech and had held senior management positions with Honeywell and Siemens prior to joining VDA in 2008 to establish VDA Asia Pacific. Finally, we will wrap up the event with a Q&A session. So if you have any questions for our speakers, like what Shouting has mentioned, please post them using the chat function. At the end of the Q&A session, we will have a lucky draw to appreciate your time with us. So there will be 2 consolation prizes and a grand prize, which is a lightweight, water-resistant, full-flat style NEC laptop. The 3 winners will be chosen from the list of attendees who stay till the end of the event. So don't go away. Without much delay, I will now pass the time to Mr. Frank. Over to you, Frank.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks for having us. Thanks for having me. And here's also my video. Here you go. Technical challenges. I'm glad to be here. It's an honor to be able to talk a little bit about how the industry recovers and first and foremost what we see in Sabre from a data perspective. And so let me share my screen. 1 second. Let me please confirm that you can see my screen.
Yes, thank you.
Fantastic, thank you. Well, just a quick quick synopsis on Sabre. We are a global organization. We have tens of thousands of hotels under contract. We transact billions of shopping requests, and we have been established in the hospitality space for a very long time. You can see some of our clients here on the screen, just sort of to set the familiarity with us within this landscape, where we provide services across retailing, distribution, and fulfillment. And we're really proud to be of this astute group of people for tonight, this morning, this afternoon, depending on where you are around the world. I want to give you some updates on the recovery that we are seeing here at Sabre. And here, this slide shows that the hospitality industry within our segments is leading the recovery. Top bar is hospitality, middle bar is our IT airline solution services, our passengers boarded, and of course on the bottom you see the bookings in association with that. And clearly, what our travel partners experience around the world is continued distress, but it's nice to see that our hospitality business is continuously improving, as I said. You can also see the sort of blips, the ups and downs in this recovery space. It's usually related when we see a spike coming up in any of the countries around the world, and it will be interesting, how this is unfolding for sort of or throughout the rest of the pandemic. Here's sort of a little snapshot around APAC, how the lockdown is still present through the majority of the region, partial lockdown. And of course, that impacts the ability for consumers to travel conveniently. A lot of paperwork required, a lot of restrictions. And although we do expect with the vaccinations this to improve, it still is great evidence for the fact that we may have not seen yet the recovery that we would have hoped for. But there's definitely green sprouts coming up in every corner. Here's a great overview of sort of the vaccination share that we see around the region. When you set this into context, I will say that, you know, certainly Singapore has done a fantastic job in getting its population vaccinated. But when you look out to the rest of the region, these are represents, of course, 22 countries. The average vaccination share for people that are fully vaccinated is only like 23%. And for people who have received partial vaccination, the average share across all the countries is 36%. So we still have a little bit to go. But we see a positive trend, and we see a much larger acceleration of people getting vaccinated in the last couple of months, for sure. This is an interesting perspective around consumer confidence. So we always want to look at, you know, what was the trend, you know, a couple of months ago? How has it compared to the bookings trend that we see now? And here you see, you know, that even, you know, with border closures and reopenings and different variants and fluctuating COVID cases, you know, there's a notable increase in the confidence of customers returning to travel. I think partly that is because the pandemic fatigue, you know, has set in, and we have had all enough of really staying from home, and partly also because of the vaccine route, there's now much more confidence for the travelers, thinking really more seriously about travel. And the statistical component here is quite interesting. This is a study that Deloitte has conducted. It shows, you know, consumers, you know, really feel safer staying in hotels and taking flights. You can clearly see the increase in traveler confidence here over time. Again, left is January, right-hand side is mid-year, and more people plan to travel within the next 3 months than they did when the question was asked back earlier in the year. We can also see that people feel, you know, much safer. Sentiment, however, varies widely by country. In India, it's 59% of people, you know, still, you know, believe that they will be staying in hotels in the next couple of months. In the US, that's quite a little bit different. And then, of course, from an Asia perspective, that confidence is still a little bit lagging. We see also the sentiment is varying by age group. You know, 35% of people over 55 say, hey, I want to definitely be back in a hotel in 3 months. Now that's changing to age group 35 to 54, where the percentage rate is 43%. And the younger generation, 49% thinks that I would be back in a hotel in the next, you know, 3 months. And that age group is between 18 and 34. So definitely improved confidence, and nice to see that the hospitality is leading the charge. This is interesting because from a booking windows perspective, we've also seen a different behavior. There are more signs, again, that confidence is returning. Last year and much of this year, it has been impossible for traveler to plan anything, really. And even if so-called, you know, travel corridors opened, they were also quickly being closed. And that really has dampened and hampered sort of the faster recovery. So it's understandable that for most of 2020, the vast majority of bookings were made within a very short booking window, like 7 days or less. But then this trend is now reversing, and we see people booking far more out. And again, another evidence for the fact that people are more confident that in a period of time longer out, they will be able to return back to travel. So, and it's also that now these travelers, of course, look at, you know, researching where they might go and where they might want to stay, and what do they want to do. So the behavior of those travelers is also changing a little bit. Here we see, you know, how that behavior then also has affected trip duration. You know, not only do travelers feel more confident, again, this is also, you know, likely down, you know, to a number of reasons. I guess the booking window and the trip duration. It's possibly because the kind of hoops and bounds someone has to go through to travel. I just personally experienced this on my journey from Singapore to Malaysia to the United States. The kind of PCR tests and paperwork that are still required is definitely a hindrance, and many many people would be detracted from doing so. And I know there are lots of efforts going on to improve it, but still, it's still a bit cumbersome. And so when people then travel, we see the travel windows extending because people want to take advantage in staying longer in their destination. When you think about then how it translates in terms of search behavior, domestic versus international, I don't think that this is a surprise. We see that domestic market has sort of, has received a resurgence because people are prohibited or can't travel internationally. So they want to get out, they want to experience. So I think this booking pattern that we see, or the search pattern that we see, is very reflective of the circumstances that we're currently in. Here, so we're going to try to understand, what is the confidence of companies to go back to travel, or how confident are employees willing to travel and see clients and customers again. So it's no surprise again that leisure is leading the recovery here, but we're also seeing that there are green shoots around the corporate travel sector. This is a study conducted by GBTA. And where they're going to, where many companies are sort of going to resume their corporate travel in a relatively short period of time. That includes people here at Sabre. So we also have started to travel again to see clients and go to conventions and to conferences. So very much in line with what we see around the rest of the world. You may want to ask, so how has that impacted the industry to really plan, purchase, consume, and buy products and services? I can tell you from a personal perspective, in our case, from my perspective in hospitality specifically, many hotel companies have utilized this time to reinvest and to get ready for the recovery and be even in a stronger position to take advantage of this ever-changing consumer who has been sort of spoiled by retail. Really the retail experience over the last months or so has been fundamentally changed. The Amazons of the world have received a resurgence, and so we have seen sort of a whole set of new, I would say, behavior. And then, how does that translate to hoteliers, and how should they be thinking about navigating this ever-changing world? So what do they need to think about? Firstly, we like to talk about this in text of deglobalization. As I said, domestic travel leads over international travel. We think about this in terms of demand dislocation. We definitely have seen, business travel reducing, but we have seen the leisure travel segment, exploding in terms of demand, and hotels have been receiving fantastic occupancy rates and fantastic rates as well. So, while these hotels have been, exceptionally well placed to cover that business traveler, they now need to also rethink about how do I cater better for that leisure traveler? What are the demands that are coming towards me? And then, of course, as the opportunities sort of unfold, we talk a little bit about the market evolution and this revenge travel kind of scenario where consumers are now leaning into online like really we have never seen before. And I alerted to sort of Amazon or the Netflix kind of behavior where people really indulge in this e-commerce and retailing experience. So that of course leads to customers having their exceptional experiences on the retail side translating into the hospitality space. So they would like to see similar personalization results. And the large scale organizations spend billions and billions of dollars. Amazon invested $4 billion to exploit really that consumer behavior. And us as a consumer, we're really well trained, right? We will now expect that to resurface in other parts of our lives as well. And of course, that includes travel. And in this sort of post-pandemic world, they also expect, that we adopt these, when I say we, the hospitality industry adopts these systems and this approach in a very, sort of seamless kind of fashion, on my mobile phone, accessible to me at any point in time. So very, very interesting trend. So how should hotels be thinking about this in context of changing consumer behavior? How can I take advantage of the situation in maybe offering other services? And here we are encouraging hoteliers to think above the room. It is not about the destination itself, like in terms of accommodation, it's much more. A hotel often is a connection into the unique sort of environment in that unique local destination. It's a springboard to explore other things. And if the technology would be available to present these offers to the client before arrival, that would be an amazing revenue opportunity. And when we think in that context as to how we do this and what do we mean by that, it's not necessarily about the attributes, right? The revenue management for some time now has thought a lot about attribute-based pricing, but we want to take this really a one step further. And if we were to be able to predict behaviors and patterns, and if we were to understand what consumers like, of course, we would then be in a position to service highly customized offers in a much easier way and fashion. And technology today is a huge enabler to deliver these experiences. Here we see why that is so important. And it is important because customers are very happy to pay for that premium service. They don't mind at all to pay a surcharge or a surplus or an extra price or a bit of premium if they get exactly what they want. This is a survey we've done with European travelers. You can clearly see that guests are more than prepared to spend a little bit more money and pick and choose the policies they like to bundle them together. And of course, that requires underlying technology sort of to enable it. You can almost think about it in the retail context, like SKUs, like a lot of things that you will bundle together, like in an inventory platform, and then you service it up to the customer. We would like to think about this in hospitality, beyond the hotel room, as I sort of stated, in terms of experiences, merchandising, living spaces, anything. And you can take this even one step further, and you can look at, what are those kinds of things that you now possibly could bundle and then sell off, sort of as a premium. We've seen this really coming through in the airline industry with low-cost carriers who initially only sold tickets and then started to sell more than $100 billion of ancillary revenues just through providing extra services that might have been unexpected but extremely convenient, while you're on the road and traveling. So we provide these kinds of experience in a platform kind of environment where you have a one-stop shop across the entire spectrum between retailing, distribution, and fulfillment. So that makes it, of course, much easier for our customers to take advantage of these opportunities. And hotels are really looking today at doing more with less. And in order to manage 15, 16 different platforms or individual applications, you have sort of a one-stop environment, a one-stop shop in which you can execute. And I think that's a really powerful a thing to do. We also believe that we're not alone, and we need to partner and take advantage of the expertise of other giants in the hospitality travel landscape. We have partnered with Google to not only improve our cloud presence around the globe, but also to innovate our products and services. This is just talking about the underlying technology in terms of machine learning and the understanding of customer behavior that we're including in our products, where we then will be able to deliver better services, highly customized offers. And the Sabre Travel AI is the first sort of technology that we've developed. And we have, on the base of that, created a booking engine for our airline industry, and it's really a fantastic experience. You will hear and see more of those innovations coming through over the course of the next couple of years. It's a 10-year partnership, and again, I hope that my short delivery were able to give you some confidence that the hospitality industry can look proudly forward to what lies down ahead of them. We see good recovery around the world. We hope that international travel will soon be having a stronger rebirth, and I believe that we are in a good position to help our hoteliers around the world to have a strong recovery. So thank you, for giving me the opportunity to speak to you today. We have a Q&A. Happy to answer more questions, and with that, I hand over to my industry colleague, Lawrence Chan, who is a consultant at the Digital Business Unit NEC, or Smart IoT, and he will talk about smart technology. Lawrence, over to you.
Thank you, Frank. Yeah, just let me share my screen. Okay. Right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Lawrence. I'm from NEC. So today I'm going to share about a little bit on what's going on in the industry in hotel, and also some of the technology that might help hoteliers in Reboot, right? So let us look at, right, everyone can see my slide, right? Okay, so how does the Singapore market going to be reborn? So today, as we understand in Singapore, our government also have categorized into a few stages like transition and resilience. And then what you see today, there's a lot of question. People are looking for, like, example, you go at F&B, you also need to check whether you are vaccinated or not. And Singapore, I believe, they also come out with so-called the health cert to check the vaccination status for foreigner. And of course, for local, we can use our SingPass to check, of course. And in the other world, like example, other country that call it a similar vaccination passport like Green Pass. And in Denmark, they call it like Corona Pass. And then some country, they have different names. So how do this going to become, I mean, live it together with this? So we are also looking on this to how to help the hoteler in the vaccination passport, right? And then because of this pandemic, the customers also change their behavior, right? So as you can see today, there is like 71% of the consumer, they are likely to stay in some of the hotel they're offering the self-service tech. And most of the hoteler also agree that the technology can help, you know, the hotel to regain their confidence in their markets, right? So of course, when the time comes, there is also a rebalance and shifting, you know, like example, the demand and supply, like what previously Frank also shared, that the market is going to come back very soon, and everything, it will be reboot again. So looking at this, a lot of the hoteler also agree that, you know, the business has been exploring a new opportunity for not only of the room, so they also like to like upsell those so-called the non-room revenue, like maybe F&B and also different services to help, you know, their business to grow, right? So let's look at the guest journey. Today, understanding how the customers come to hotel, they usually they will do a booking research, you know, and then pre-arrival, stay, and then post-stay, right? As you can see that the stay, I put in a vaccination checkpoint. It could be a trend, so we do not know, but we are exploring also. As you can see nowadays, if you want to dine in some of the F&B, you need to show the vaccination status, right? So from pre-arrival, I believe this is also one of the trends that a lot of people try to get it done before they come to a hotel. They want to do like a web check-in, pre-check-in, so that they confirm their bookings, their information, so that when they come to hotel, is very fast. They can just do a simple, maybe 1 or 2 steps. They can get their keys and go to their room, right? So that's the purpose that the people like to do the pre-check-in, is some sort like the airline. You also can do a pre-check-in, right? So during the stay, so there is something maybe the hoteler should also look at, like how to manage the breakfast. As today the breakfast is still a very manual way that people are looking at the print out the report, print out the Excel sheet, and then check for the next day arrival and forecast the breakfast. Right. So there are a few ways we can manage it. And one of the very important place people are looking at how to control the crowd. Today, because of this pandemic, we are limited with like social distance, you know, and then the capacity control, right? So people are also looking at the crowd density, how we can manage. And then we have like, also we like to take care of our VIPs, especially like lounge or any VIPs that have some events. So how we control it in a better way, right? So of course, feedback is important for hotel. And today, I believe most of the hotel, you have your own, already have feedback system, but the feedback is usually still like is a passive kind of feedback. It is not a live feedback. So we have some of the idea that we can share with you later on for the feedback. Of course, the post day we have a feedback, right? So let's look at the check-in process that what we think the new way of check-in that will help the guest experience, right? So example, this hybrid check-in. So before the arrival of the guest, so the guest is something like an airline, you receive an email, and then you can do your confirming your reservation, your information, your payments, or maybe you can do like your upgrades or upsells, you know, right? During this stage. So the guests can do it anytime, anywhere, using either their mobile phone or their computers or their laptops or their iPads or anything, right? They can finish all this process without coming to the hotel, then only they do all this process, right? So from here, when they arrive the hotel, right, they can just choose whether they want to go for the front desk, or they can, if they see the front desk is too many people, they can go for the kiosk or anything, right? So this is where they get their keys, right? So if they go to front desk, they can straight away collect the key without further delay, right? So if the hotel are looking for like a full kiosk check-in, and the experience will be the same, the guests can still go to either front desk or the kiosk if the queue is a lot, right? So they can, the guests have the, you know, the choice to choose whether which way they want to go, right? So these are some of the benefits when we automate the contactless check-in. So of course we can reduce all the time and then minimize all the human error. And here are some of the ROI that I can share. Like example, let's say every day you can get like 3 upgrades, like you have some profit margin over there. So every year you can get some of these profit margin that you can self-funded your system. And of course, from some of the study that if you get, because you're doing this is the guest is, they feel happy, you know, fast, check in, check out, right? So they also help the hotel to increase their CSAT, right? So for increasing a CSAT is eventually you also increase your revenue from here, right? So this is another thing that we like to share, that we can manage the breakfast by using a QR code, right? Today, the guests can just enroll their breakfast when doing their check-in. So they will receive a QR code from their mobile phone, right? When they arrive the restaurant, they just scan their QR code, and then the restaurant staff can immediately address their name, because all their information will pop up after the guests scan their QR, so that they can welcome the guests with addressing the name. So it's not like every time when we stay in the hotel like 3 or 5 days, you know, every day the same breakfast, but every day we see the staff, they see me, yeah, every morning, then they still want to ask, sir, good morning, sir, what is your room number? But today with this, right, example, let's say you take one more step further, if you're allowed to use a facial. So when the guest just step nearby the system, right, it will pick up, and then the staff will immediately say, hey, good morning, Mr. Lawrence, you like to have your breakfast near the buffet area or the window area, right? So the conversation is different, and this house is this how the hotel can increase their customer satisfaction, right? Here are some of the examples also for the feedback, right? As I mentioned before, most of the feedback are not live. So today you can use this live feedback right? To let the guest feedback, you can just simply put a QR code anywhere, even in your IPTV or any digital signage, right? So example, let's say the room is, the aircon is not working, right? So immediately when the system receives this feedback, it will direct to the runner or the engineering team. Then the engineering team can look into it immediately. So this will also help the hotel to do a service recovery, right? Of course, you have all the dashboard and real-time monitoring and alert system from here, right? And this is the cloud density that I believe this will also help hoteliers to manage their cloud and capacity. Right? Example, you can have individual counting or group counting in a specific place. Right? So you can set like your threshold, your occupancy, and the guests also can able to see their occupancy. So example today, let's say the last day of checkout, I want to check whether the breakfast area and the lobby area, is it crowded or not? So I can see from my, after I scan the QR code, I can see, now maybe, the breakfast area is very crowded during the morning 7 to 9. And then, but before 7 is not crowded. So I can plan my journey that, maybe I can go early for my breakfast. And then after that, I can check out, right? It also has a trend that showing you what time to what time usually at this hour is peak hour or off peak, right? So this will help the guests to, manage their journey, right? So of course, from the management side, they have a dashboard and alert system if they want to trigger, like, let's say the occupancy is more than the threshold, right? Right, so these are some of the benefits for the breakfast, right? So of course, when you manage your breakfast today, there's still a lot of people try to get a free breakfast. So imagine every day there's some people taking advantage for free breakfast. You might lose your revenue from there, right? Every pack and example here, every day you have 3 packs, like a $20 breakfast. So there's a lot of loss. But if we can use this system and convert it into a revenue, so you can become those people who did not purchase, but they you help them to do an upsell, like they purchase a breakfast, so you will get back a revenue on this, right? Of course, this is also help you to control and also increase the customer satisfaction, right? So this is how actually from NEC point of view, we have a suite of ecosystem that help hoteliers from the different journey, from the start, from the before booking, pre-check, pre-arrival, arrival, post stay. All these we have all the system. So you can, from all these, you can know your customer more, right? And this is also to help your marketing team to do a strategic marketing to your customers. So you don't want to, like, example, this guy is really like a restaurant, right? So you don't want to send a promotion that is not relevant to him. You send a promotion of spa, but he's not going to spa. He like to go restaurant. So this is where we talk about know your customers, and you can know where, like example, they consume where, and then you can do analytics and blast out your EDM or any promotion to the hotel, to the guests, right? So these are, I believe, all the hoteler has the same issue, that every time we purchase many systems, and every system is a silo, right? So people like to purchase this and then purchase that, all the different systems come in, but when the GM asking for the report, hey, can I have a dashboard, to see, all the relevant information, but you cannot do because all the systems are silos. But for us, we have a platform to sit in. All the system you can connect together with a single platform. Then you can have all your reports that you need from a different system. Right? This is, I believe, is very important. That when the hotel thinking how to upgrade their system or digitalize their system. This is my last slide. I believe I still remember one of my sensei in Japan. He told us one of the things that if you're thinking to want to implement a new technology, you must be open-minded. You cannot use the old way, the old method, but you try to solve the thing with your old method with new technology. That will be a fail. So this is the message I like to share with everyone, right? So if you have any question or anything after the webinar, you can contact us by scanning this QR code. And also maybe you would like to discuss with some of the solution. We have some of the different business model, like you can start with zero, start with minimum amount. We have all this program to help the hoteliers, right? Thank you, everyone. And I like to pass this session to Mr. Cheong from Salto system. He will talk more about the mobile key. There you go, Cheong.
Thank you, Lawrence. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I hope you guys are okay. And I'm Cheong Soon Huat from Salto Systems Asia. I'm very happy today to be given a chance by SHA and NEC to share my experience on how a hotel or how a hard metal key in a hotel has evolved over the last 4 decades into a mobile key that a guest will bring along with themselves. So I was taking a look on the participant list. So I'm seeing some familiar names. So good morning to you guys. So let's first start by looking at the timeline. Okay, I'm old enough to have check-in in the hotels where they give me a hard metal key, for that same metal key that allows me to go into the guest room, and it's the key that I need to drop it off in the key drop box when I check out. So it's a simple thing, but this is where the problem comes when you need records of who entered the room. You get nothing of that, and then when the guests drop the keys, the front desk has to sort it up and then put it back into the tiny little pigeonholes that they have under the desk. And the biggest challenge for hard metal keys, I think we all know, is when when you misplace a key. The engineering department will have to send the staff who are actually trained as a locksmith to change them, to change the lock or to rekey the lock itself. So in the 80s, then we start to see plastic card punch with holes. And by the way, this is where I joined the industry. And this got rid of the key replacement problem. However, it still don't provide you with the time control. Neither you have records of who entered the rooms. With some simple workshop tools like drill, screw or file, you can get this duplicated. So I was having fun with this as well. So the real breakthrough was somewhere early 1990s, where the lock gets smarter. It has a built-in clock. So now then you can actually control the time, when the guest can enter the room. And you can even have records of who actually entered the room at what time. Obviously, there's a hindsight to this as well, because many manufacturers make the lock differently. So the guest actually need to know how to insert the card, and which way, upside, downside, and even the speed of inserting or pulling out the card from the lock has to be correct. Otherwise, there will be misreading. Being magnetic stripe, it get demagnetized very easily. I experienced that myself while I was supplying one of these systems. But that is the shortfall of this magnetic stripe technology. So came the early 2000s, where the embedded technology become real. So now we are able to write data into the microchip that is embedded in the smart card. And this provides a lot of convenience to the guest. The guest now doesn't need to know how to present the card because it's quite intuitive. You just go near the lock, the readers and the door lock unlock itself. And then the data in the microchips are much stable. However, cost is still the main concern. Contactless smart card are definitely more expensive than the magnetic stripe card. And there are some technology which are already in the market for 40 years. Sorry, I will not mention any brand, because if I were to tell you which brand, which technology that have been hacked, that can be cloned, I'm sure half of the audience here will be excusing yourself, and then you'll be rushing back to the hotel to see if you are using one of those technology. I'm not going to do that. Okay, so if you want, then we can have a coffee, and then offline we can talk about it. So now we are in an era of a guest bringing their own device. Okay, so they can actually open doors, open the guest rooms with the mobile phone. So there are lots of whole suite of advantage that we can expect from the mobile guest key. But before that, please allow me to quickly share with you my company background, so that you know where are we coming from when we share with you the information as I go on. So Salto System is an access control company from Spain. We have about 1,200 staff. We focus highly on innovations and R&D. And as of now, we have about 5 million doors being secured globally by Salto. And then there are 40 million people walking through a door secured by Salto. So today, we're going to focus a lot on hospitality, but we are bringing to you experience and observations that we see in other verticals. We call them segments if you want to. We learn it from the educational campus. We learn it from the staff housing. We even learn it from co-working. And then the observation we see in that aspect, and then how we can adopt them in hospitality segment. So now, for your hotels to have mobile keys access, mobile guest key to be exact, definitely the guests will need to bring in the smartphone that have near field communication, NFC in short, or HCE in short, Bluetooth Low Energy, BLE. And then there's a demand for QR code scanning. Yes, there are some reservations that we have on that, but today I'm not going to open up a debate on the good and bad of a QR code. So for now, we'll just know that the guests have to bring a mobile device. Then the hotel has to prepare themselves with hardware. So the locks themselves in the guest rooms need to be BLE or NFC enabled. Now there's a misconception here in the market that the hotel locks need to be online for the mobile key to work. That is not true. Okay, that is not true. So it can be offline as well. In fact, mobile key give an advantage over the offline. We will share more if you want to offline that. Then the guests are not only going to the guest rooms, there are other areas they need to go to. So you will see the reader mounted on the wall. Those need to be BLE and NFC enabled as well. Then you need a very intelligent, powerful, and secure management software at the back to generate digital key and to deliver them securely into the mobile device of the guests arriving at the hotel. So when we say securely, you then need a security dongle. Before the key are being delivered to the mobile device, you need to be encrypted. So that no one can sniff, no one can listen to whatever you are sending into the mobile phone. And if you are planning to send it over the air, OTA in short, so you can send a mobile key for a Frank who is coming in from US. He can get his mobile guest key to his room when he's still in the airport, maybe in Dallas. So that is OTA. Then the guests can help themselves, like I've said the OTA, but then they can come to the receptions. The receptions or the front desk can then send the mobile key over the hotel Wi-Fi. This is no rocket science, it's available. The guest also can ask for a copy of the room card so that you can work in parallel, meaning both the mobile and the card can be used in the same room. You can get it over the air, like I mentioned earlier. So need not to be at a hotel to get a key. Now, as what Lawrence was saying, if the guests want to avoid the crowded front desk or the lobby, they can help themselves to the self-check-in kiosk, request check-in, and then request for a mobile key to be delivered to the mobile device. And again, here, the guest can always request a copy of the room card, okay? A copy of the room card. So we need to take care of those guests that are not comfortable with mobile device, okay? So this is something that we are mindful of. So the benefit, of course, now that the guests are bringing their own device, we use lesser card. I'm not saying we're going to totally eliminate all the cards in the hotel rooms, but you minimize the use of it. Hotels in the world spend thousands of dollars buying cards every year, and they do not know where the cards goes to. So with this, with the guests bringing their own device now, there's no need for it. You will minimize the card replacement. It's much secure because it's our own device. You don't share your device. Second, we encrypt it before the data are encrypted before we send it into the mobile phone. Because it's digital now, you can void the access rights very quickly. The guest no need to be at the receptions for its rights to be for its access right to be voided. And surely this is not just a key for you to open a guest room, right? It is also a same key that allows you to go to other areas that you grant access for your guests, including the lockers where they are enjoying their onsen or they are doing their gym, their fitness, and so on, the routine that they have. Okay, so these are the single credential that I'm referring to. Now, so far, so we see all the benefits. A question comes very quickly will be, I think, is mobile key for all hotels, or is it just for a special few? Right. So now to us, mobile key is for any hotel of any brands of any size. We are also seeing in the region that hotels are trying to gain competitiveness with the mobile guest key, whether is it from the vendor or whether they develop their own mobile key. Okay, we are seeing lots of hotels picking up this. However, there are some hotels that only mobile key makes sense. If you don't mind, I'd like to relate this to a hotel that we are involved in Cambodia, where it's a hotel by the river. The guests are given 1 hour access to a fitness center, not related to the hotel. All right, not related to the hotel, but they have collaboration between them. And then the guests can go to the gym for 1 hour and they are using the same mobile key. So this is something that the hotels are using now to make workflow and also the guest flow experience much better. So it has been more than a decade. It has been more than a decade since the mobile phone access, mobile guest key was introduced. However, we are seeing some low take-up rates. So we know, NEC ourselves, we know the obstacles that hotels are facing to adopt mobile key. So let's look at one of them, which is actually the guests themselves. For a guest to use a mobile key to open a guest room, they will be motivated. So if you have a unified app so that the guest can do more with less, as what Frank has mentioned again earlier. So they can do more with less, the keyword here. And having said so, that we are also consumer, and we are always encouraged by being rewarded to install to an app that any of the providers are provided. So do think of rewarding the guests for installing the unified app. And then it become a community app. You can engage them. You can run your marketing campaign also through this app. So beside this, we're also seeing that, for existing hotel, the upgrading is a bit of a challenge, especially some of the brand, I'm not going to mention them, they have the lock design upside down. Upside down is quite a popular one. It's upside down, and then when you need to replace them, it's not easy. So at least take that as a lesson learned. When you're investing in a solutions, the hardware should be at least modular. You don't need to change the entire lock. It should be something that you just replace the electronic and there you go. Second, I think if you are not able to get a modular type of hotel guest room locks, at least it should be our standard American or a standard European lock footprint. Now, Singapore has very strict fire code, very strict fire code. I'm proud to be in a working group. So by right, you're not allowed to modify any of the fire doors on your guest room. So at least with these two standards, which is very common here in Singapore, you will not need to replace them. So, you will not need to do a lot of carpentry. Software compatibility, I'm sure many of the systems in the market now are encouraging hotels to take on the mobile key. So they are willing to give you the free upgrade on the software. Again, if you're investing in systems now and you're not planning to use mobile key, have it in modular so you can add the mobile guest key at a later stage. SDK should be always available. In fact, should be free so that you can use them to develop your own hotel apps. So other obstacles, I think, is now we are talking about guests going into a room without a key card anymore. So it's so important that we integrate hotel lock systems now integrated to the energy saving systems or the room guest room management system like VDA, whom Silvio after me will be sharing more of that solutions. So then property interface, PMS interface should not be a problem actually, because it's the same in protocol. We just need to add additional command to it. Finally, point of sales. Rollins was suggesting QR code. In the past, we need our card to verify ourselves to consume in the restaurant, but now we've gone out of card. So at least the Hotel Unify app, like what Lawrence was saying, the QR code can help you on that. If not, at least there should be a mobile key device that can read the mobile key and then send information through USB into the POS terminal. So with this, I just want to end a little conclusions. Like what Frank said, we need to do in hotels, we need to find ways to do more with less. So we believe mobile key is one of the enabler to help you in improving your efficiency and also the guest experience. I will not be taking questions right now so that we will leave it for the Q&A. But for now, I really like to introduce Silvio, who have exciting 15 minutes of information that we would like to share with each and every one of you. Thank you very much. Silvio.
Good morning. Thank you, Cheong.
Welcome.
I just need to switch on my video. Okay, here I am. Good morning to everyone, and it's great to be part of this webinar with such distinguished industry experts. As you can see, a lot of knowledge transfer, and I hope that all of our participants are really enjoying the session this morning. I'm Silvio, and I'm the Chief Sales Officer at VDA Asia Pacific, based in Bangkok, Thailand. VDA is a global company with over 40 years of experience in the hotel automation industry. With the recent announcement in the stock purchase of Telconnect USA, a leading US energy management technology provider, the VDA Group has a global install base of over 7,000 hotels, exceeding over 1 million rooms. Today, we're going to talk about the terminology. My session over the next 10-15 minutes is helping you understand the terms that you hear every day and some of my previous peers and colleagues have talked about. Energy management, digital keys, contactless, cloud. What does this all mean? How many times have you heard these words and wondered, how can this apply or help my hotel? What investments do I need to make? What is the ROI? What will be the guest experience? This is what I wish to share with you over the next 10 to 15 minutes with simple terms, how a suitable tech stack brings value to your hotel and why you can't operate without it. Let's start with what I believe is still today not well implemented: energy management in guest rooms. Energy is the second single cost every hotel has, irrespective of size, after payroll. But energy management in guest rooms in many hotels is not well implemented, and potential savings cannot be achieved. Why? because in many hotels, this was not considered from the start, or have been designed with conventional wiring and a simple key card to control the energy, which can easily be overridden by the guest. Or when in the design and construct phase, the FF&E costs increases and uses up all available budget to install any type of suitable energy management control in the guest room. So what you get is a hotel using more energy than it should, costing you more dollars than it should, and costing the environment. How do we fix this? A change in mindset is the first start, but let's look at the technology. Energy management controls need to be connected to your property management system, building management system, and all the other systems in a hotel. They need to be online so that you can centrally monitor and manage all services from anywhere, from any device, and not waste energy on unoccupied rooms or even meeting room spaces or event spaces. The more integrated your hotel is, the more efficiency and cost savings you can achieve. This can also be done in steps. Take step one, install a smart thermostat. But let me walk you through the steps that consume energy in the guest room. Focus here is the guest room, where a lot of energy is consumed or wasted. This flow chart shows the typical workflow from check-in to check-out of any hotel, 5-star or 1-star. In many hotels, the room AC is already preset to cold prior to the guest arriving by housekeeping. Once the guest enters, sometimes a key card activates the lights, but in almost all cases, the AC is not managed centrally. Savings can be achieved from checkout to check-in and when the guest room is unoccupied. And let's now discuss this further. We can see from this slide the energy consumption at each step. The energy meter shows the consumption from green to yellow to red. In hotels who don't have an automated solution, the energy consumption is always in the red. A very clear point of note, lots of case studies, lots of evidence, allowing unoccupied rooms target temperature to drift by 2 degrees has proven that up to 30% energy savings can be achieved in an existing hotel. Now let's compare the energy consumption of a conventional hotel and that of a smart hotel. As you can see, the smart hotel uses energy as it's needed. It will be greener, more efficient, and the owner happier as he can now manage the ROI, and from the savings, make new investments or improve the profits. The conventional hotel just uses more energy. Digital key, mobile key. Cheong has already explained all the benefits and the uses and the evolution of digital key. This technology has also an impact on energy and workflows. The lock today is intelligent. It knows who is going into the room. Is it a guest or a housekeeper? Is it entry into the room or exit out of the room? Such logic intelligence works side by side with the guest room energy management system. Again, saving your hotel dollars and ensuring that your hotel is running greener and more efficiently. Contactless. We've all become very familiar with our mobile devices since COVID. I don't think there is any generation that has not used their mobile to QR code their entry into a restaurant, a shopping mall, order food, watch Netflix, TikTok, and occasionally make a phone call. Today, via a hotel app, all hotel services are available on your device. To check in, pick up your room key, adjust the room temperature, and switch off the lights to say goodnight. It just could not be easier. Cloud. Today, we all use the cloud. We have iCloud accounts, Dropbox, Google Docs, Facebook, Instagram, Netflix. Unlimited storage, able to use the apps across multiple devices, whether it's a mobile, laptop, iPad. security, two-factor authentication, find my device, all thanks to cloud computing and cloud technology. Or maybe Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, who really changed our digital behavior, changed that. The traditional on-premise hardware and software only made our IT professionals frustrated when a software update had to be made or when the hardware was made obsolete. Cloud systems today remove these pain points, have an equal, if not higher security level, and allow operational staff to better manage other services, centrally and across multiple properties. So, once we have all these systems in our hotel talking together, we have integration. This is a seamless process. It works, and we are all very familiar with this technology. Just consider the experience we have when we order food or buy service online. It just happens. Food arrives, money is paid, but there are many automated steps behind this. So let me walk you through a typical example how this would work in a hotel. A guest requests their room to be cleaned and goes to breakfast. Housekeeping receives the request and makes the way to the guest room. Upon housekeeping entering the room, the guest receives a push notification on his phone that Miss Wendy is cleaning the room. The AC is set to economy mode and the room is set to cleaning mode. Housekeeping notes that the bathroom has a leaky tap and sends a message to engineering. Engineering chats with housekeeping via video call and sees that a washer is needed to fix the tap. Engineering checks the inventory online, selects the spare parts, and makes their way to the room to fix the problem. The guest at breakfast notes that his room is still in cleaning mode, so he continues with his email and has another coffee, makes another appointment. Housekeeping makes one final check of the room and sets the room to clean status. The guest receives a push notification on the mobile. Your room is cleaned and sanitized by Wendy at 8:45 a.m. Have a happy day. All of this without walkie-talkies, disturbing guests, and without the endless amounts of paper and checklists. Automation, integration saves energy, improves productivity, and improves the guest experience. What we've discussed are not just words and nice slides. So let me share with you just a few of the hotels and case studies where such technology is implemented. MGM Macau. This is by far the most tech-connected hotel in the world. Its 1,500 rooms have over 17,000 IoT, Internet of Things devices installed. Each smart panel uses wireless communication integrating with an in-room mobile phone lookalike remote control. From this device, the guest can control the lights, temperature, TV, order room service, and also make a phone call. All rooms are connected to the property management system, the building management system, and all the workflow applications. Coming soon to Singapore, the new Pan-Pacific Orchard. Its 350 rooms will be super energy efficient. Designed by Huat, every aspect of energy management has been considered in materials, greenery, and technology. The GRMS will be connected to the property management system, the building management system, and workflow applications, and use an advanced occupancy-based algorithm to better manage energy when the room is unoccupied. And close to my home in Bangkok, and actually this property is right next to our office, Jono will be the very first 100% connected hotel in Thailand. A custom hotel app will support the QR check-in, mobile key, room controls, and guest casting. This property will also run with 50% less operational staff thanks to technology. In concluding, technology need not be difficult to implement nor expensive to deploy. What you install as the first cost has long-term impact on the capacity to deliver an ROI for your hotel in the future. Choosing experienced vendors with a track record in the industry will deliver the right technology stack for your property. Integration of all the subsystems, removing the silos, as mentioned before, in a hotel is a must-have today. It's not a nightmare. Vendors have open APIs that can make it simple to exchange data. The property management system telling the guest room management system to set the preferred guest check-in temperature, to send a digital key to the guest, informing guest services that a room is unoccupied so that the room can be cleaned. And when the guest returns to the room, they find their room comfortable as they left it. Enjoy some relaxed time to stream Netflix to the TV and say good night in one simple touch of their mobile device. Energy management systems, digital keys, contactless, cloud. Now you know them better. Thank you.